Did you ever try your wife's breast milk when she was lactating?
I never did. I'll just say we have a newborn right now, and she's breastfeeding.
I'd never tried my wife's breast milk.
I never did, and I know people who
never.
tried.
You would have been the first person I would have thought.
I don't like milk in general, though.
I know what it smells like, and no one ever pressured me to try it, and she knows I'm grossed out at that.
Yeah.
And I never did.
But it's like more like trying the cat food.
Yeah, and my wife hasn't tried hers either, so we're normal.
So right now it's just a mystery.
Just for the record, we're both normal.
No, it's fun. You're kind of supposed.
And you just saved the marriage.
Yeah. She doesn't listen to this anyway.
My wife, she makes great
This is
milk.
a test to see if she actually listens.
It's Beer Friday, a group of animators getting together to swap stories and see whose is better. And of course, drink some beer. Yeah, Beer Friday is finally here.
Welcome to Beer Friday. I'm your co-host, Richard Johnson. I'm here with co-host Brent Bouchard.
Hi there.
And we're here with Jay Brown.
Howdy.
Rohd Santos. And Jay Brown and Rohd Santos have both worked in animation for
At least
A week and a half.
Yeah.
a week and a half.
I mean, 17
I
years.
started my second
They
week
know how to
next
do
week.
squash and stretch now.
Yeah. I'm pretty good at squash and stretch.
You both worked at Mainframe together?
Yes.
Is that when
Yeah.
you-
That's
When
where
it-
we met.
when it was still mainframe.
Yeah.
Like real mainframe.
And now it's WoW
Which is like the GoBot mainframe. It's not the same.
because they merged with someone else.
Oh,
And now
I
they're
didn't
going to be
even know
called
that.
WoW Entertainment or something.
Wow.
With an exclamation mark.
Wow,
too.
I'm entertained.
Jay, you worked in Pre-vis for movies.
Yeah.
TV, I think.
I worked on the third Riddick movie, and I worked on one of the Underworlds, but I can't remember which one, the name. Because
Underworld 4, I think, wasn't it?
I think, yeah, and
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
the fourth
Underworld Awakening or something.
305.
Yeah, I don't know. There's werewolves and people's eyes turn blue. I don't know. And then I worked on, most recently on the new Predator movie, which is probably the coolest thing I've ever worked on.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And Rohd, you've been doing a lot of video games.
I started at EA in video games, and I worked on the basketball franchise until it was taken from us and sent to Florida. and then after that, I jumped over to propaganda games, where I got to work with Brown again, and I worked on Tron Evolution, and then the ill-fated Pirates of the Caribbean Armada of the Damned, which is an awesome game until it got canceled.
Yeah, it was great, and none of you ever get to play it.
So today I stopped over at Powel Street Brewing over on Powell Street. I'm drinking the Dive Bomb Porter, which is actually pretty nice, chocolatey.
This is dive bombing right in my stomach.
And then Jay, you're drinking the Ode to Citra Pale Ale.
And it is aromatic for sure.
Yeah, it smelled pretty good. I tried a little bit. IBUs on the Citra, 40 IBUs.
Oh,
That's the
40.
International Bittering Units.
That's a big thing in
Yeah.
craft beer is like the
Yeah.
hoppiness. I
Like-
don't really like it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because if you're not like a hoppy beer guy, then
Yeah.
you're like, it's like, oh, I don't like craft beers. And it's like, no, you do. You just don't like the ones that are the hip ones.
Yeah.
'cause-
Yeah.
That one tastes like pine needles.
Because there's an IPA underneath that I didn't get, that's 70 IBUs, and that would have been like Hop City, like
Yeah.
turns your face inside out.
I would have left. I would have gone home.
Yeah.
Story time. The story of the Great Race.
The Great Foot Race of 2005.
Wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was. So it was like
12 years ago. Jesus.
Yeah, you can set it up, Brown.
In my better days, which are definitely not these days, 10 or 12 years ago, I was a pretty fast runner.
He was a fast runner, and he bragged about it. I was like,
I definitely bragged about it.
and I was like, fuck you, I'm faster than you because I work out. I go to the gym like twice a day. I play a lot of ice hockey, and there's no way you can beat me.
But like, so you guys can't see us, but like if you saw our builds, you'd see everything Rohd is saying is ridiculous.
Dude, I
still haven't
30
know about
pounds lighter than.
Yeah, but like your wrists are twice as thick as mine.
Yeah.
I got a bird-like bones.
Yeah, yeah.
Bird-like bones.
He kept on saying, "Bird like." I was like, "Yeah," but I'm like,
We're telling this
I'm
terribly.
like a fucking
We're just getting back into the argument from.
yeah. This is how it started because we get at each other. I go, "There's no fucking way."
Okay,
I'm
when you
like,
say the great race, you guys were you guys are talking about that you were competitive with each other. So was this a race between the two of you then?
yeah, it was a foot race between the two of us.
Yeah, so basically this argument that we've just rekindled all of a sudden basically came to a head. So it was Rod's last day at
Because
Mainframe.
I was going to EA like shortly after.
And no one really knew about this grudge. And at this point, like, we gone from being like pretty tight to like we were both mad at each other, basically.
Because he kept bringing it up. I'm like, fuck, dude, I could crush you.
Are you guys both competitive types?
Yes.
Not
Personalities?
really. Me, not really.
Not really? Maybe yes? Okay.
I'm pretty competitive, yeah.
Right.
But
So-
he is, yeah, for sure.
And definitely like grinding Rod's gears about it. And so anyway, at this lunch, team lunch, everybody goes out Rod's last day. And so this comes up. So suddenly it gets like momentum. And everybody's like, well, obviously there's only one way to fucking solve this. You guys got to have a race. And I was like, yes, I'm in. And so then,
And I was kind of sitting on the fence because I did not want that attention. I was like, I hate attention like that.
Right.
so they plan it.
At work, you mean, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So they make an announcement over the PA at work.
Yeah.
They're like,
At 3 p.m., Jay Brown and Rod are going to race on Maple Street.
so everybody, you stop what you're doing and go downstairs and
I love it.
and watch this. Fucking
So the race was from Broadway down to 8th, like where the church is on Maple there,
Yeah.
and then back. So it was just like there and back, and that's it,
Okay.
right? But
yeah, so
a sprint.
yeah,
Yeah,
so we
it's a
got
sprint.
so people stood at the other end. The way it kind of ended up getting set up, I don't even know whose idea this was. It wasn't ours.
fuck,
It
I
was
don't
someone
know, man.
else's.
It was just on the fly.
It snowballed out of our own control. We were no longer the catalyst.
It's like a fight in high school.
yeah, totally. Yeah.
Because it was 3 o'clock.
But the funny
That's
part
the
is,
key.
the funny part is like when we went out, I got it dressed in my gym clothes, my runners and stuff. Jay Brown's still in fucking
Well, yeah. So
He's in like brown
Jeans.
boots or something.
yeah, like
You weren't taking it that serious?
yeah, because like I go out there thinking like
Smoking a cigarette.
this is pretty hilarious. I don't know, maybe my own ego or something.
Yeah.
But I was in my normal clothes, like I'm in like skate shoes and
Yeah.
jeans, and Rod comes out in full gym strip, and he won't even fucking look at me. like he comes out, I sort of got you had like an entourage, and you were just like like super game face, and I was like,
Well, I just want to get it over with because this is embarrassing too, right?
so they set it up so two guys stood at the other end of the sidewalk down at 8th and Maple, and we had to like sprint, tag their hands, and run back. So you had to like run and then like run back.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. From my perspective,
Off the blocks, I crushed him.
crushed me. Totally
Just crushed him.
Scared the shit out of me. I was like, oh my God, he's way faster than I thought. And then the fact that I was like 30 pounds lighter than you.
Yeah, because I
Suddenly
gassed out
kicked
on the
in.
leg back, and all I see is his flailing body. He's got a very interesting, unique running technique. Whereas his arms go like this.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if you remember when Phoebe was
I
jogging.
do. She runs like a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Ran like that.
Yeah.
It just her arms are his arms are flailing, and then his legs are kicking out funny. And now like
Rod's main excuse that he lost is because the way I run looks so funny that he
I
started
stopped laughing.
We'll
But that's
insert
my
a,
excuse. But admittedly, I was dead.
we'll insert a gif of Phoebe running to illustrate the point here.
It reminded me of that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm still like, there's no fucking way you ever would have beat me.
No, just couldn't believe it, man. Like, just so many people watched it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's kind of why I didn't want to do it because like everyone's watching it, and I didn't want to I didn't want to look like a fool, and I did.
This is one of the best stories.
It is because because I got in full gym gear and I got made to look like a fool. So
Wow.
yay!
It's okay. I look stupid when I
No,
run.
that was awesome.
So
It was
we're
awesome.
even.
No, it's so weird because like
It was.
So what happened after?
Yeah.
No,
The
then it
aftermath
just-
here.
I think we were like immediately hugging after.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, good race, eating humble pie. Like, yeah, I was eating-
Whatever.
Yeah, it was fine, but yeah.
But it was just for bragging rights.
No,
It's
for,
like, you know,
it totally was.
But I know what you mean. Like no one
But
else
you were
loses
right
a
about
race.
everything you said. You're just like, you kept going when you're like, my legs are super strong. I'm like, yeah, but I'm lighter than you. And you were like, sheer power. You should see me skate. And then you were right, man. Off the line, like most of the way on the
Boom.
first leg, you were
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
way out in front. And I was like, oh, I'm so fucked.
But I miss mainframe for that stuff though. There's like that family environment and stuff like that. And this is how I got this nickname from an event while we were animating a Stuart Little 3. It was kind of funny, and it was near the end of production. Everyone's just stressed out because it's crunch time, right? And whatever, and we're all working hard. And then there's this one guy who just thought he was funny and kept trying to kept trying to get under my skin. And then what he'd do is come up behind me, grab the back of my chair, and just push it down towards the floor so I get dumped on my back, right? Oh. And I go, haha, that's funny the first time. Cool. And then he did it a couple hours later again. And I'm like, oh, cool. It's cool that you did it again. But if you do it a third time, we're going to have a problem.
And if I could interject here, Rod mentioned earlier today his three-strike rule.
3-strike rule. So I do have a firm 3-strike rule about anything, right? So that's how I go, yeah, if you do it again, we're going to have a problem. And so he's like, yeah, whatever. Like, he just dismissed. And I guess I had that personality where, yeah, you think you could pick on me, but yeah, I have my limits. And so another couple hours later, he comes in and does it again. And I just like, let's get ready to rumble. Fuck you. I kicked my chair to the side and I lunged at him.
This is like in the middle of the studio.
In their suite. In the suite. There's like about 6 other animators, right?
Yeah.
And were you in this suite too?
I was there.
So I lunged at him and tried to go to shoot for a takedown. And for whatever reason, he threw a punch at me and I had my head down and he punched the top of my head. Broke his hand.
Holy what? So wait, he went in full on punch mode?
Yeah. The next day, comes in the office and he's got this huge cast on his hand. And we're like, what the fuck happened? He's like, I broke my hand on his head. Right? And then everyone started calling me the skull of Santos. And I was like, oh my God. Johnny Darrell had this thing, what did he call it? The orb of what?
Oh, so there's this other extremely hard object in the office known as the orb of Crom, and it was just a like softball-sized ball of electrical tape.
Electrical tape. Johnny had made it. He just kept wrapping it into a ball.
Origins unknown.
And the joke was, what would survive in a battle between the skull of Santos and the orb of Crom?
The whole studio would explode.
Yeah.
We were
Like splitting the atom.
There was one day we were like, me and another guy, Mike White, who is also an excellent dude you guys should have on. But so him and I are like going for lunch one day. We just find this box of records on the side of the street. Yoink. And we like walked back to the studio with it. And we were just like, we found all these fucking records. It turns out smashing records is super fun. And it turns out if you have the skull of Santos there, you have a perfect thing to smash stuff on. So Johnny Darrell made this video called Smash Hits. And I don't know if you'll ever be able to find it.
It's on his Facebook. I can pull it up.
We'll link to that too.
And it's just like a series of...
Oh, we got
Rod's wearing this Elvis mask.
Yeah.
And everyone's just taking turns fucking smashing these records on his head. And I don't know, that's the story of how Stuart Little 3 got made.
Wow.
Johnny Darrell's only got 8 videos on his Facebook.
Oh, maybe he
so
had smash hits off there.
like that was really important to him. Not his children or anything else in his life.
I feel bad smashing the albums there because I'm sure some hipster would have loved the shit out of them by now.
Yeah, like in hindsight, we stole those, I guess.
Or just a lover of music.
I have a quick side story about smashing records too. When I was a kid, I went to my grandma's house. Me and my cousin used to play at my grandma's house. We'd go in the basement where it was kind of like a free-for-all. We could just do whatever we want down there. We found a big stack of 45s. Like old Beatles records and old Rolling Stones and all kinds of awesome records, and we fucking smashed them all. We threw them against the walls and stuff, and we were like,
"It's so fun!"
Because it was fun.
So fun.
And,
it's so fun.
In our minds, we were like, because it was the '80s, right? And we were like, everyone's listening to tapes. Like no one likes records anymore, and we're like, CDs are coming, and like the whole thing. We were like, what the fuck are these old records? We thought these were like these really old fucking records, and we smashed them all. These old fucking 45s. And we got so much shit for that.
Like, it destroyed history.
Yeah, like my mom and our uncles and stuff, they were like, They were giving us shit, man, because
It's weird. Like it's weird shit.
I
you do
feel
when you're a
bad
kid.
about it because we wrecked
Yeah.
some rad records that I would love.
Well, at
to
least
have.
you weren't like killing ants or something.
Yeah.
you know.
But
You're just bashing.
I don't know.
it was that first time where you realized, like, oh, that thing I think is stupid, someone really likes, you know?
Yeah, or is worth a lot of money.
I think I would have been more okay with my kid killing ants and just smashing a bunch of my prized possessions.
Truth was, yeah, we killed ants too. We smashed ants with the
Yeah,
records
okay.
too, man.
I always feel bad about it because I killed ants when I was a
Oh
child.
yeah, with the magnifying glass. Everyone did.
Yeah, and I feel bad about it.
Fucking blast.
Here's the thing with ants: they don't have a central nervous system. It's all fine.
I feel so much
Yeah,
better.
Yeah. Any horrible shit you did is fine. Don't worry about it.
All right, guys, it's time for snack time.
Snack time.
Woo!
Snack time.
Dollar store barbecue tuna.
I'm so
What
scared.
looks-
Dad.
A can of what looks like and smells like cat food.
I'll dive in.
It's got a little bit of a funk to it. I'm gonna get into it
yeah.
as well.
Rod's gonna go for it.
It
I'm gonna
smells
take a
like
quick pick here.
tuna crossed with spam.
Hook a brother up. It's like a tuna pate.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Load me up.
Rod's spreading it out the
I think I might have
It
to.
smells like cat food.
Yeah.
the
We're
um,
eating cat food.
It's not flaky like a tuna. It's
like pate.
it is like a pate.
yeah.
Oh, it smells.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with
I'm
it.
gonna go grab a bit too here.
What? Oh, Rod went for it.
What's it like, Rod?
Tastes like tuna, but like in a pate format.
Rod's like a human dumpster, though.
Yeah, I'll eat anything,
right.
dude. I'll eat anything.
Okay, I'm gonna try. I'm at the other end of the spectrum. No.
No? I think I'm okay with it.
It's got a bit of a burn at the end.
Is it better than a Lunchable?
They spiced it up a lot.
got-
with
it's got some
cayenne
spice.
pepper, so it masks the flavor of the rotting fish they put into it.
I'm going to finish the can off.
Rod's all about it.
Yeah.
Rod's just mowing down on this fucking
I'm
tuna.
okay with it.
Yeah, you know what?
I would eat the shit out of this.
And he is.
We
right
bought
now.
that as a joke.
I just vaporized it.
It's
Wow.
seriously like the can looks like
fan.
it was cleaned.
Like
by
the
a
can,
Yeah,
the
like
can
this-
right now. The can I'm looking at it's on its side.
Not a trace of
like the
of
can itself is
salmon in
tired.
there.
Don't waste food, man.
Oh wow, it's done.
Wow,
It's like there's nothing.
But you
So we
didn't.
got a enthusiastic thumbs up from Rod.
Favorite thing.
All right, favorite
All right,
thing.
favorite thing. I recently picked this up on Amazon. It's called The Art of Atari, and it's
Whoa,
yeah. We're
that's
talking about
cool.
nostalgia, so this is actually fitting. I just always loved these old Atari watercolor posters, and this basically just highlights.
So it's just the cover art for the games?
Yeah, it's like the artists who did the cover art, and it sort of runs through their rough process
and
and
all
like
their marketing and stuff.
and their
right?
marketing, and it has a little bit of a history of Atari, and it talks about the consoles and the different art and whatever. And when I was a kid, I had an Atari 7800, which was it played the 2600 games.
Yeah,
it
I
was
got
like
the-
because my folks didn't want to buy me a Nintendo, and at the time, 7800 was competing with Nintendo, and but I knew it was the shitty, it was the Diet Pepsi of video game systems,
Yeah.
you know. But I always loved that the box art was rad. Like you'd look at, I had this one game called Frostbite, which they don't have in this book, but it made this look like it was this cool little Eskimo dude, and he was running on these ice floes, and there was all these animals chasing him and stuff. But when you play it, it's just a guy, and he was a square that was yellow, and he had white legs, and you had to just imagine that he was the guy on the box art, you know, and it helped you stretch your imagination a little bit. But I'll pass it around if you want to take a look at
Yeah, I
it.
don't
Cool.
want to look at that.
You know,
I'm just gonna open.
I played the shit out of my Atari.
This is a heavy
Yeah.
book.
It's a heavy book. Yeah,
Wow.
it's like a coffee table book.
Wow.
I'll post some pics on the blog.
There's Phoenix.
And I really like that style. Like they always had the weird, trippy multi-image stuff, and it was sort of like there was a pencil line, and it was always watercolor, and it was really sort of trippy. And then they had the same text for the title of the game, and it always had the same sort of packaging, you know.
Yeah.
And I always thought I want to actually. I'm going to do it this year. I hope I want to do like some artwork spoofing in that style, you know. But maybe.
Should do a poster like that.
Oh yeah. Well.
Oh no,
This
that's
is
too much
something that
work.
could take a while.
Oh,
this
like
is
hand painted and
I want to
stuff?
do like this year. You know? I won't get it done by the end of the month.
Come on, Brett.
But yeah, it's just like kind of spoofing that style, doing like a cool painting, and then I don't know. of
Oh,
something
like,
that didn't
you can do
exist in the 80s.
like a hand painting thing.
Yeah, well, digital
Nice.
painting, but
Yeah.
you know.
Art.
So I bought that as inspiration for that because I always had it in the back of my mind.
I just pulled up Raiders of the Lost Ark here. I remember playing this game.
I think I have Raiders of the Lost Ark or one of the Indiana Jones games, and it's literally just a square. Like the dude's a square, and I can't even remember the premise of the game, but
I think my favorite one for Atari was maybe Missile Command.
yeah,
That was fun.
that was cool. And they talk about that one's in there. The guy who did the art for that, and the whole idea was to really plus up the art on the box because that was selling the game, you know. And then
For sure.
you feel like you're in this Missile Command. Holy shit, they're coming in from everywhere. But really, it's just a square
funny
coming
how-
in, little house. Poof.
Yeah. It's funny how you accept the graphics and when you get it though.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
just
yeah.
think it's like 5 pixels. That's the guy.
Yeah, because you're using your imagination.
Yeah,
you
I
know.
love it.
Some of them came with a comic book too. Like there was a game called Berserk that was an arcade port, and it was just a dude running around a room like a maze, and he was shooting these robots, and it was just room after room, different maze, different robots. But the cover art was really cool. The guy's like doing this big thing, and there's this robot fucking blowing up, and it came with a little 15-page comic
Nice.
inside, so you kind of knew the story, but the game itself was a piece of shit.
That's a great favorite thing.
Yeah,
That's
very
pretty
cool book.
I'm definitely going to pick it up like this weekend.
So today I tried virtual reality for the first time, and I was pretty skeptical of it, and was just kind of like, well, I don't know, who cares? And it's fucking awesome. I don't know, like I spent half an hour just on Google Earth, just flying around, and I was just like, there's my house, and then there's the house I grew up in. There's my parents' house. There's my girlfriend's house. Like my buddy's just
And then
watching.
you're at your girlfriend's place.
And my buddy's watching, and he's just. I
Your
was like,
parents are like, "What the fuck are you doing? You can see me."
But,
Is this live?
You can go like right down to the ground and like the geo falls apart and stuff. But my buddy that was watching, I was like, this is lame that I'm doing this, and he's just like, no, everybody that does it does the exact same thing. You go right, and then and you're like, this is my house.
Yeah. So, what sort of VR were you doing? Like, was this the one where you put the phone in the cardboard, or was this like
No, it
a
was,
high tech thing, like
it was
a real?
this
The Vive, right?
The
Vive, yeah.
Okay.
It was really nice, but like the games are sort of like, I don't know. They kind of had that sort of old school Atari feel where
Right.
like my favorite game was literally the high score where you just like go until you die, and it was like a tower defense game where you're shooting guys with a bow and arrow, and it's like,
Right.
like it's not realistic looking. It's like that Sony Stickman, like the black with the white outline Stickman,
Right.
dressed in armor, running, and he's shooting with arrows. But you could
Like almost like Minecraft, but
yeah, basically that level of
Yeah.
fidelity, maybe a little bit nicer, and you could draw the bow back and let go of it, and it
So
felt
it was an archery thing.
yeah, and it felt
Yeah,
super realistic and super satisfying, and it was just like a combo of like all the physics felt great, it matched what you're doing exactly,
Yeah.
and then it was super fun and it was exhausting because you'd be like
Right.
you'd like get through the first level and you're like, yeah, I nailed all these motherfuckers, and then like the next wave comes and so they're faster and there's more of them, but also like you start to fatigue because you're just like
Yeah.
you got your arms up and you're literally just pumping arrows
Right.
out like Legolas or something.
that's cool.
So right now that's definitely my favorite.
So
thing.
you'd say it's almost there. Like, would you, if you owned that, would you play it a lot? Replayability?
I think so, yeah. Like I feel like
You'd just be doing.
I feel
you'd
like-
be looking at porn all the time.
oh, I'm not Rod. That's what Rod's doing.
I was just gonna say
Ron just
you'll have to cut this because I was like, VR porn is pretty fucking amazing.
That's good.
No, we're not cutting that.
Well, okay, whatever. I don't care. The only ones I won't watch is like where you're the role of the girl.
Right.
So my favorite thing is a podcast. It's called Steel Toes Required, and the podcast is it's hosted by a bunch of local comedians. It's hosted by Ryan Williams, James Kennedy, and Stephen McNeil. They are stand-up comics, but they all work blue-collar jobs. They're working their asses off during the day, and then at night they're doing comedy shows in front of a bunch of people and being super brave and hilarious and smart. And I found out about the podcast because I took a comedy class at this school called Blind Tiger Comedy. And it's run by like really funny guys. I don't know if you guys heard of the Sunday service.
No.
They do like
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, they do
Couple
like
guys from
Emmett
Animation.
Halls
Yeah,
like does
yeah,
the piano for them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Emmett. Yeah.
And it's got Ryan Beal and that's where I met James and Ryan. I was like the worst person there. These guys were so fucking funny and a little intimidating.
Well, but you learned something about it.
And then they came up with this podcast and I started listening to it and I got really inspired by it because it was so funny. And that podcast was the reason why
It was an
doing this
inspiration
one.
for starting this one.
Yes.
Blue collar jobs are like a fucking gold mine.
Yeah.
for stuff.
Such a
Why are
good
they even
idea.
called blue collar jobs anymore? If they get paid way more than us.
That's true. That's true, man.
Yeah. The animation industry is hoodie collar job.
Yeah. It's
Can
hoodie color.
can animators be considered blue collar because they work stupid hours?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we're not very strong.
We're technically we're in the tech industry,
Yeah, we have no upper body.
which is a
strength.
huge blanket. You know, like it
great.
covers everything.
Rod, what's your fave, dude?
Right now, I would say right now maybe Letterkenny. I spent my childhood in a small town up north when I moved here to Canada when I was 4. So like everything, all these little things resonate with me, like hockey, like small towns and Hicks and all that stuff. I didn't get exposed to like skids and stuff like that yet.
What
'cause
town
of
up north?
Houston, BC.
Okay.
It's between Smithers and Prince George.
Right.
And I loved it. I loved growing up there as a kid because like you could ride a bike anywhere, like
Yeah.
and do anything, and just it was fun, right? Like I don't know. As a kid, the whole place was like it was so like you could just do anything you want.
That's like a part of rural Canada. You know,
I
like,
love it.
I grew up in a bit in Prince George.
Okay.
In high school years. Yeah.
Do you know Houston then?
No,
It's about 3 hours northwest of.
never been there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, like we go to Prince George because that was the city for us.
Yeah.
So we go either there or Smithers. Smithers was like an hour and 20, and then Prince George was about 3 hours, and then that was fun because I'd get hit my rap tapes from there.
Your rap tape.
Yeah, like my first rap
yeah.
album was Run DMC's "Raising Hell."
That's awesome.
Nice.
Awesome album. Just the dialogue, and then just the hockey, and then all the guys are a lot of the actors are Vancouver based, even though it's based in Ontario. But then all these.
Yeah.
All these little things. I don't know. It's so stupid, and a lot of it's, kind of low budget, whatever. And but I find it more easy to watch than Trailer Park Boys back then.
Yeah.
I didn't really like Trailer Park Boys. It's kind of I don't know because all the characters in Letterkenny are likable. Trailer Park Boys are a bunch of dirtbags,
Yeah.
Letterkenny feels a little bit more real than Trailer Park Boys. Too.
Oh, for sure.
Like Trailer Park Boys are hitting like some serious angles on some stereotypes, where like
Yeah.
Letterkenny, it does feel like anything. Like you say, you grew up in northern BC.
Yeah.
I grew up in northern Ontario.
Okay.
Letterkenny is filmed, I think, in Sudbury.
Yeah.
Which is like essentially the exact same city as I grew up in. Like,
Right.
it's about 4 hours west
Yeah,
of
but they're
where
all
I
the same,
west
right?
of where I
Like-
grew up, and it's the same thing. Like I watch Letterkenny, and I'm like, holy shit! Like like everyone had a backyard rink, and everyone
Yeah.
knows a dude who used to just sit on his porch and drink and whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I love it so much.
I can relate to that.
I don't
too,
know.
yeah.
I don't know why, but it's just got this charm about it, and the thing that crushes me about it is like there's been 2 seasons now, and they only have 6 episodes each, and I wish they had more.
Did it start as an online
Yeah.
thing, and then they sort of got picked
Letterkenny
up?
problems. Yeah, it
Yeah.
started off as these little segments, and they were only a couple minutes, and it was pretty funny.
Yeah. And man, they're promoting the shit out of that. Like,
Well, that's what Crave. That's how
Yeah.
they get their subscribers, right?
because I got the I did the free trial,
Right.
And then we liked what's on there, a lot of HBO stuff, and then all that, and so we started buying it after.
Show me.
Show me just
Show
died,
Me,
yeah. So
yeah.
that filled the Show Me gap, right?
Right.
And yeah, every time I turn it on, it's like,
Yeah.
just advertising Letterkenny like crazy.
And they had
Yeah.
they had the hockey guys in those World Junior commercials and stuff, and like the
okay.
the hockey guys are so good because
Yeah.
they're so realistic.
yeah.
Like they seem like cartoons, and you're like,
Yeah.
no, like I think
It's
anybody who
pretty
grew up
realistic,
in Canada
yeah.
knows dudes like that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they call everybody boys.
Yeah.
And they're just
Yeah, like
super
the
fired
slang
up.
is almost like universal Canada wide and
Oh, for
everything. Yeah,
sure.
it's great.
Yeah.
It's so funny. There's skids and there's the hockey guys
And then the
then
farmers.
farmer kind of
Totally sounds like Prince
sort of
George to me.
Yeah, totally.
As soon as you said skids.
A lot of anyone who grew up or has spent some time in a small
Yeah.
town, no matter where you are, can relate to this.
Is
Yeah.
skids like a Canadian term, or is it like is it a North American term? Because like I don't know, everyone that I know that grew up in Canada knows the word skid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
I was a skid.
I was afraid of skids.
Were you a skid?
No, we self-proclaimed ourselves as skids because we thought it was funny. It was just like a joke,
Right.
I guess. I don't know.
And where I grew up in West Bank, or West Kelowna, I guess it's called now.
Okay.
But there was like two schools. There was sort of the rich school and then the kind of like lower income school. And the lower income school was the skid school, and that's
You're
the one I went to. And every once in a while you'd wake up or you get to school in the morning and like the rich kids had come and like spray painted skid crossing and on the road in front of the school. And it was, I don't know whoever did it. I don't know if they thought they were like really fucking giving it to us, but like everybody thought it was hilarious and awesome. So
Like no one's that sensitive.
No. No, I think my high school was like a lot of like skateboarder guys, and that's kind of was my crowd.
But
I guess you start to feel like a skid after a while when you're a skateboarder in Prince George in the 90s because it might be the same now. It's a very violent place.
Is George?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was super violent. Like when I was going to high school, it was really violent. And this is a place that gets to minus 30.
Yeah.
If it gets to minus 40, you don't have to go to school.
That's right.
Anything underneath that,
right.
you're going to fucking school. We would have our snowboards in our lockers because we would sneak out and go snowboarding because we had a hill and we'd build a jump and we would do that.
we used to do that too.
I used to cross country ski to school. That's that town I lived in. I could ski to school. It was fun. I really enjoyed doing that.
This is like the
Yeah.
most Canadian podcast
Yeah.
in the world right now.
We're talking about this show.
No, I love it though. It's true. Like
And then so basically, if you wore a toque in Prince George at night, you were a beacon for jocks.
How the fuck would the jocks keep their ears warm then?
I don't.
they just wore baseball
a
hats
lot
all
of
year round. It was
cocaine.
fucked.
A lot of cocaine.
Yeah. No, but they had big trucks with heat.
All right.
I remember.
We could all
Yeah, I
drive.
got jumped by a bunch of jocks in a tiny little red Toyota, and they were like a clown car, and they all got out and they were huge, and they're like,
Fucking dead, skater.
My neck of the
I got
woods.
away.
that's good.
We used to have the jock skater divide because I was hanging out with the skateboard / snowboard crowd, whatever. Because we used to all do that stuff. The jocks, they weren't that violent, but they would call all the skaters. They would call us beatniks. Nobody was doing scat poetry and like had a long cigarette and like the little turtleneck and everything. Like that's a beatnik, but
Yeah. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah,
guys.
thanks
problem.
guys.
That was
That
fun.
was
It's
awesome.
fucking awesome.
I had a lot of
stuff.
fun.
Any social media?
Or
Twitter,
like
anything?
where can people find you?
If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's rattlesnake_JB. Sometimes I post stuff, but it's
There you
mostly motorcycle stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, but through Rattlesnake, you're doing you're doing films and stuff through there. And
Yeah, some side projects. Nothing that cool yet, but
If people want to see the stuff that you've done, like, can they go to your just Twitter and find that? And you're a busy guy. You're doing a bunch of stuff.
yeah, if you go to rattlesnakefilms.ca, you can see like I don't know, a couple of little things I've done. Cool. Yeah, nothing too crazy, but yeah, there's a couple little shorts and stuff.
Sweet.
For me, I guess both Twitter and Instagram, but they're very unspectacular. It's at the Dirty Santos. And that is my gamer tag for Xbox and my PSN ID as well. Dirty Santos.
Cool.
Sweet. Well, thanks again, guys.
Yeah, thank you. And anyone listening, please go to beerfridaypodcast.com and you'll find you'll find our show notes and photos and videos and all that we've talked about, like our snack time and all that. Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye. That was like a bad voicemail. That was like you're calling your ex and you didn't want to say something, but it picked up. No, that was great. Do we have an outro song?
It's Beer Friday, Beer Friday. A group of animators getting together to swap stories and see whose is better. And of course, drink some beer. Yeah, Beer Friday is finally here.
Fuck, where were we?
I was just talking about how I miss MSN, and then you could send each other emoticons on that, right? Like little
Right.
animated GIFs.
Like before GIFs were cool, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And me and Jay Brown would always send each other just randomly the meat spin one. I don't know if you guys know what meat spin is.
I don't remember that one.
No.
Brown, you could describe it.
It's sexual. Rod, you know better than I do. You should just explain what it is.
Well, it's a guy sitting reverse cowgirl and another dude, and he's getting plugged, and then his wiener's doing a propeller thing.
And it's like a perfectly cycling
yeah.
GIF. So
Right.
It
just
goes like this.
And it's like
Like a clock.
like a
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not animated. This is like from a porn.
This is real.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I assumed it's from a porn.
Yeah.
but-
Or from
like maybe an art film.
an
I don't know.
adventurous video, whatever you want to label that as.
But I missed that so much because he just randomly sent it to me, and I'd always laugh. Like it got to the point where it was funny, and I didn't get disgusted by it. I was just like, I wanted it.
right. Yeah.
Because you could assign you could assign like sort of code words
Yeah.
to your
You could-
emoticon or whatever.
You could make your own.
So you'd always put it like in brackets Jesus, and then like if you type that in, it would just pop up with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember making.
I don't know why that made it funnier, but it did.
Yeah, I remember now that you think about it, you were able to make your own GIFs. GIFs or GIFs? What are we going with here?
I go with Jeff because that's what the creator
GIF?
says. That's
Okay,
how it's
yeah, I used to
pronounced.
go GIF, but people conditioned me to say GIF. But anyway, so I used to make my own in Flash because you could export a GIF or
Yeah.
GIF and put them into MSN back then because you could do that. You
Oh.
can't do that anymore.
I miss it.
You make little stupid loops on animation or whatever. And yeah,
It was fun sort of being the only people that knew how to do that for a little while.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it was like you're part of this secret club.
Yeah,
and then
it's
all of a
pretty
sudden
cool.
it's just like, oh, you can do it on your iPhone now.
Right.
Which is still pretty fucking fun, but
Yeah.
the coolness is gone.